Hi guys, it's John from B&B Campers. Just going to do your handover video on your new Venture Nu Rio. So starting with the bonnet here, it's the 2020 model 70 plate. So we've got your washer fluid on the top left hand side, engine coolant in this reservoir just here, which is obviously just an expansion tank for the actual radiator. The engine oil is topped up through here, and your engine oil dipstick is this yellow topped one just down here. Your engine battery sits over here, positive terminal just here at the front, negative at the back. The air filter sits inside this box just here. Brake fluid is in that reservoir just there attached to the servo, and your power steering fluid sits just down here. You've got various fuses and relays inside this box over here on the right hand side next to the battery. Other than that, that is all the basic bits and pieces. The service has just been done at Peugeot, so everything is up to date with genuine parts and oil. Carrying on to the near side, as we open up the door, you can see you've got your AdBlue filling point and your bonnet release handle just there. Paperwork for the van is in this brown box just here, and that's about it for the passenger side. Your diesel filling point is this one just here, and you will need your ignition key to get that to open up. Your electric step comes out down here next to the habitation door, and that works via this little switch just here. The freshwater inlet point is this one just here at the back. These two vents just here are for your fridge, so if you've got the fridge lit up on gas, which I do at the moment, you can put your hand over this right hand side here and feel a little bit of heat coming out through there. When you've got this lit up on gas, you should really have these little vents off just by undoing these little flathead screws, and they just pull out. It just helps with a little bit of airflow going through the actual back of the fridge there, and helps to cool it down more efficiently. Your freshwater outlet is this one just down here, so you just literally turn that one there and that will drain out your fresh water. And your wastewater drain is the grey one just down here on the offside rear. This locker just here is your toilet cassette. I've got this half out at the moment, but I'll show you how to actually pull it out. So you've got a little blue tab just down here. Lift up on that, and that will allow you to pull the entire cassette out. Once you've got this out, all you need to know really is that you drain it out from here. So you undo the cap, drain it out from there. And when you're actually draining it out, hold down the little blue button in there, and that's basically a pressure release valve, and it will allow it to come out much more easily. Once you've drained it out, your blue fluid goes inside here. About a capful, when you take this cap off, you'll see it's actually a measuring cup as well. About a capful goes back in, swish it around, and then push it all the way back in. You've got a freshwater flush for your flush system on here, which is what this blue pipe here is on the left, which means that as long as you've got some fresh water in the tank, you can flush the toilet at any time. The next locker up here is your gas locker. Now you've got space for 2 of these 6 kilo propane bottles in here. You've got your gas spanner down here, which has been left by the previous owner as well. So all you need to know really, you don't need to know anything about this regulator stuff up here. All you need to know is anti-clockwise round to the left turns the bottle on, and clockwise round to the right turns it off. You need to turn it off before you start driving, and turn it on again before you start using any appliances on the inside. So I'll leave that on for the minute because I've got some bits working. Hookup point. So if you wanted to use the electric hookup, so if you wanted to use anything that works on the mains electric basically, you need to plug that in. This little piece pulls out, you can plug it in and then drop the top down like that, and it basically stops any water getting onto the actual plug there. But that is what that is. That's your electric hookup point. And this one just here is for your INET ready Truma combi boiler. So at the moment I've got it lit up on gas, and I can feel hot air coming out through the front of this little vent here. After a little while, you will see condensation forming down here, and it will start to drip. That's completely normal, and unfortunately you can't really do anything about it. It's just the boiler working basically. But that is how that works. So in the cab, it's all pretty straightforward stuff, but a nice spec in here. So obviously you've got your factory fitted Peugeot head unit up here. It's a double DIN size. So you've got your source, it's just basic radio bits and pieces, to be fair. Heated mirrors there, and all of your sort of heater controls. Now obviously this has got air conditioning, but there isn't actually an on and off switch for it. So essentially, if you just choose your low temperature or choose demist, it will just work automatically. What else have we got? Lights are on the left hand stalk just there. The reversing camera up there works really nicely, so you can switch between the two cameras. One that looks straight back, so you can use it as a rear view mirror, and one that looks straight down, so you can use it as a reversing camera to reverse right up to stuff. Electric adjusting mirrors from there. Hazard lights just there in the middle. You've got the 6-speed manual gearbox as opposed to the 5, which is really nice. And that is about it for the cab. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just walk around and jump in to the back end, so we can go through the more exciting bits and pieces, really. So I've got the heating on at the moment, and because it's quite a small vehicle, I put it on about 5 minutes before the video started, and it's already starting to get warm in here. So your control panel, this is a Sargent EC51 control panel. It's a really standard little bit of kit, especially for the new Ventures. So to be completely honest with you, it can't really get much more simple than these little control panels. They're really reliable, but really, really super simple. So all you have to do to turn the actual control panel on is press the on and off button just up here. Once you press that, you'll get a couple of lights coming up. The basic fact is you've got level indicators. So this is a good example, right? Right, let me just do this a second. Make sure that's all on. Yeah, okay. So what I just did there, when I pressed the V battery just there, essentially what I did was I swapped the battery power from being drawn from the leisure battery, which it should be drawn from, which it is at the moment now, to the vehicle battery. Now, if I want to draw power from the vehicle battery, what will happen is, because there's completely different batteries altogether, the vehicle battery is a starter battery, which really is not the kind of battery that you want to be running lights and things like that. A starter battery is great for starting engines up to give you maximum power really quickly for a short amount of time. And leisure batteries are more built for kind of, leaving the lights on like this for a long time, all that sort of stuff. So if you switch over to vehicle battery there, like I just did by accident, you'll essentially realise that pretty quickly the battery will start to die, and you won't be able to start the vehicle up. So that is completely normal. If I was you, leave it on leisure as much as you possibly can. All right. You can check the voltages by clicking on it, without having the lights on and things like that. You can check the voltage there if you want to. But if it was up to me, I would just leave it like that. So pressing on leisure, when I've got it actually set to leisure, shows us the voltage. Now this is a pretty good voltage, bearing in mind I've got the heating on, the hot water on, I've got the lights on, everything's on. So that being there in the middle is perfectly fine. If I turned all of the lights off and turned all of the power off to everything, it would go up into the green. The one below it here is your fresh water level. You can see you've got a full tank of fresh water at the moment. And the one just here with the little tap symbol is your water pump switch. So if I just explain it, so it's this particular motorhome has got an inline water pump, which means that it works via pressure. So me turning this pump on and off at the moment, it's not doing anything at all because the water system is up to pressure and there's no leaks. If when I turn this pump switch on for the first time, once I've driven the van or something, or if I haven't had it on for a little while, the pump will run until you do what I'm going to show you in a second. All right, so at the moment, because I've got the pump switch on there and it's not actually running, it tells me that we're up to pressure and we're good to go for everything we want. So if you come into the vehicle, so if I just give you an example, I'm going to turn the pump switch off and imitate a lack of pressure. So if I just pull the tap here, I pull the tap on the cold side for a minute and the hot. So I'm now releasing pressure because I haven't got the pump switch on. I'm releasing pressure in the tap. All right, I'm going to turn that off. So now when I turn this pump switch on, the pump will start to run and repressurize that water that I've just drained out. So you can hear it running now. And it will just run and run and run until it needs to stop. There you go. So the pump's stopped. So now I can turn this pump on and off, and it won't do anything at all because that tap is now at complete pressure. Okay? So that's essentially what will happen. When you take the van home, for example, or the next time you come to use it, if you turn the pump switch on, the tap will probably, the pump will probably run, all right, because it's lost a little bit of pressure over that time. So that's completely normal. If you want to use the boiler and you want to heat the water up, you need to do what I've just done there. So turn the pump switch on and then come over to the tap and pull the hot water. The pump will start to run, and as long as the water's coming through like this, nice and clearly, and the pump should turn itself off. As long as the water comes through nice and clearly like that on the hot side, you can know for a fact that the boiler is full of water. If you turn the pump switch on and pull the water through on the hot side and no water comes through, it either means you haven't got enough water in the tank in the first place, the boiler's empty of water, or there's not enough pressure in the system. So there's only really one way of going through and checking what's going on, and it's really, really easy to do. So if I just move this cushion out of the way, I should have been more prepared really. Right. Let me move this out of the way. That is a big heavy cushion. Okay, so the boiler itself is just down here. Now if I just prop something up in the way of that so that I can let go of it. Right. So the boiler itself is down here. It's this black top thing. Now it's really, really simple what I'm going to tell you. So the only thing you need to look out for on this particular boiler is this little yellow tab over here. Okay, so this little yellow tab is the boiler drain off, and if that is lifted upright, any water that's inside the boiler at the moment, which is about 10 litres, and I know it's about 10 litres because, like I've just shown you over there, the water comes through the hot side nice and clearly. If I lifted that upright so it was vertical, all the water inside the boiler would drain out onto the ground. Now, if the only reason you'd want to do that is if you knew it was going to get really cold outside, and you weren't going to be using the vehicle. So if you're going to leave it over winter, you need to drain out that boiler by lifting that up. If you haven't lifted that up, you shouldn't really lose any pressure in the boiler. It will just be like I showed you a minute ago, it will just pressurize itself when you turn the pump switch back on. But you need to keep your eye on that, make sure that's left in the down position if you want to use it, and if you want to drain it out, lift it up. And that is it. So if I just drop this down again now and put these back. Everything in these new Ventures are really, really nice quality, really thick cushions, all that sort of stuff. Okay, just for the minute I'm going to turn this heating off because it is absolutely roasty in here, and I'll run you through how to use it in a minute. I didn't think it was going to heat up that quickly. Right, so that's the control panel and the heating, the water side of things. Any of these 3-point household looking sockets around the vehicle, that one there, there's probably other ones dotted around. Any of those, you will need the hookup cable plugged into the vehicle in order to use. The 12-volt sockets here should come to life as soon as you turn the power switch on the control panel, as will all of the lights and things like that. So I'll quickly run you through this as well. You've got your solar controller over here. Now the solar controller, basically, I'm not sure if you're going to see it on the, there you go, there's your solar panel. whacking great big thing. So the solar panel, essentially, I think we fitted it from new. The wire comes in through this cupboard over here, runs along through these cupboards here and over to the Duo controller. We tend to fit Duo controllers here because I just don't see the point in not, to be completely honest. If you're already running wires to batteries and things like that, you may as well run an extra one. So the big advantage of having this Duo controller means that you get 2 batteries that can be charged from the one solar panel. So your vehicle battery and engine battery and leisure batteries will both be being charged up from the one panel. So anytime there's daylight up on that the solar panel up there, both engine and leisure batteries are being charged up. So like I said, this is literally just a little controller just telling you what's going on. It tells you what voltage is in the battery. You can switch between those and see what voltage is coming in, all that sort of stuff. But that is what that is. You don't need to do anything with it. You haven't got to press any buttons. But, basically you've got solar wire here going in. So PV, that's your solar panel. Battery 1 is more than likely the leisure battery, and battery 2 will be your vehicle battery. All right, just thought I'd explain that to you. Okay, so we've got your 4-burner hob and grill up here. Now the ignition for all of those is this one switch just here. Nicely laid out. You've got the 4 burners on the left with a little diagram telling you which one does which, and the grill on the right. I will point out, I don't feel like I have to actually say this, but the grill hasn't actually been used, so please don't light it up before taking all of this stuff out, because it'll be a real mess if you do. But that's that. The next bit is the fridge. So this is a three-way fridge, meaning it works on mains electric, which is the top one here, 12 volt, or gas. So having those 3 different ways that it works is really, really helpful. So it means that you can keep this fridge cool with absolutely any sort of situation, essentially. So I'm going to turn this off for a minute so I can show you it turning on from scratch. So if I had the hookup cable plugged into the vehicle, I personally would have it just there on hookup, and that is absolutely all you have to do. You just leave it there and it will cool the fridge down. If your engine is running and you've already pre-cooled the fridge, you need to have it down here on the 12 volt, and the only other way to use it is on the gas. The way that you light it up on the gas, turn the dial down to the gas symbol just here, press in on the ignition switch, and press in on this one here. You'll then see this little orange bar will go up into the green. You can let go of the igniter. I'm still holding on to this, and now I'm going to let go of that. So as long as that little bar is up there in the green, you can know that the fridge is lit up on gas. So the gas and the mains electric are the only 2 that will get the fridge cold by themselves, and you need to pre-cool them before you leave to drive, before you switch over to the 12 volt when you're driving, because the 12 volt only really holds whatever temperature you already put into the fridge. Right, so hopefully that makes sense, and I'll turn that off for now. In this cupboard down to the bottom right, you've got some gas isolators. If I just tell you which ones they do, so the one on the left hand side is your boiler, the one in the middle is the fridge, and the one on the right is your 4-burner and grill. Isolating those is literally just turning them 90 degrees so they're running left to right rather than up to, top to bottom. And you only need to do that if you think there's an issue with an appliance. You don't need to do that every time you get out. Turning the gas bottle off in the locker back there is the way to completely isolate the gas. So like I said, only touch those if you think if you actually think there's a problem or a gas leak from one of those appliances. But that is what that is. Before I carry on to the front, I'm just going to show you in the bathroom because I've got a tendency to forget. So we've got a light up here above your head. These LEDs are actually really quite bright, so you probably won't need to use the LED strip light around the mirror. There should be a little switch for somewhere, wherever that might be. Where's that then? Oh, I'm sure you'll find it. Oh. Where's that then? Should be a little switch somewhere. A little LED switch. So I didn't do the habitation check on this one, so I'm not really sure where all the buttons are. Alright, anyway, I'm sure we'll find it. So the sink here, you'll notice, hasn't actually got a drain hole in the bowl. This is completely normal. So you've basically got this tap here, works in exactly the same way as the kitchen one. So if I pour the water through, I can put as much water into that as I want. I'll turn that off and put it back to where it needs to go. Now, all you need to do to actually drain it out, there's a drain on each side at the back down those little holes. So all you need to do is slowly lift this up, drain it down the back, and it'll push up and out of the way. And that is it. Shower up there. I'm not going to show you that because I'll get soaking wet, but it works from that little dial just there. And the toilet couldn't be any more simple. The drain, or the flush, sorry, press this button here and that will pump the flush around and then drain it out from this little handle here. Push it to the right to drain it into the cassette and pull it back to close the flap. And that is it for the bathroom. And that's going to annoy me where that switch is now. Oh, up here. There you go. So a nice LEDs behind the mirror there. I couldn't see it because it's behind this little waterproof cap. Okay, so I'll turn that light off. Those little circular lights that I've just shown you there on the roof, on the ceiling, sorry, are touch screen or touch sensitive ones. So the little blue ones in the middle, now obviously they're not going to do much during the day, but those little blue ones do actually make quite a difference if you just wanted a little light at night. They are actually pretty bright, but yeah, it's up to you how you want to use it. It was just a little clock front falling off that I just noticed. I'll put that back on in a minute. Okay, so I think the only thing to show you now really is the boiler controls. The skylight here, the main skylight, very, very easy to use. I've got it all the way open at the moment by pushing it all the way to the back. If you put it down and across, it will just lay out, and then to lock it, if I just show you, to lock it, push it up all the way like that. So you just unlock, lock. This one back here, very simple. Pull the handle down and pull up, and then when you let go of the handle, it pushes up and then locks it in position. So pull the handle down, so just like that, and that is it. Okay, so the boiler control. Now this might, I'm sorry if I got a bit of a shaky hand when I'm doing this, because it's really awkward to get in here with the camera and show you at the same time, but I'm going to try my best. So like I said, this is a Truma iNet ready system, so this is a combi boiler and it's all so simple to use. I have done a couple of other videos with this seat out of the way. I've done a few other ones with this same system. It's becoming more and more common now. So to turn it on, press the middle button just there. Whatever one here, whatever sort of symbol is flashing is the one that you're hovering over. So if I click on this one, which is this little van with a temperature sensor in it, I can turn the temperature up to whatever I want and press OK. So that is the heating. Okay, so that's straight away, I can feel on my leg that is starting to pump out some warm air. The next one across is the hot water. I've got it set to hot at the moment. I can choose eco or boost. All right, but I'm going to leave that off for now because I don't actually need it on anymore. The next one is, I'm going to turn the heating off again now. I don't actually need that on. The next one over is your energy setting. So if I click on that one, At the moment I've got it set to just gas. I can choose mix 1 or mix 2, which is basically a mixture of gas and electric, or I can use electric 1 or electric 2. So if you want to use the electric for any reason at all, that will obviously mean that you have to have the electric hookup plugged in. So at the moment I can only use it on the gas. And the last one is the fan. So if I've got the heating on, I can go on that fan symbol there and essentially just choose how powerful I want the fan to run. All right. If I don't have any heating working at all, I can use it as just a fan by itself. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. Turn that off. So yeah, like I said, so hovering over this one here is your heating. Turn it up or down depending on where you want it. The one on the right there is the hot water, eco, hot or boost. You've then got your temperature, your energy setting, electric, mix or gas, and then the vent. There you go. So that is how you use that. To turn it completely off, you can press and hold on this and it will turn itself completely off, or you can just leave it alone and it will just completely, you know, the screen will just go blank basically. So that is it. That is how you use the heating. Loads of extra bits and pieces up here in the overcab locker, including extra cushions and TVs and things like that, all the stuff that the previous owner that we sold to just wanted to leave in the vehicle. And I think that's about all I can show you in this van, to be fair. I mean, I don't know if there's much else. If there's anything else you think I've missed out or anything you'd like going through again, just let us know. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing you soon to collect your van. Thanks very much.